Hey traders, welcome back. Right, so risk management rules. This is a massive topic, and I could sit here and I talk about this for hours literally, but keeping it refined and kind of focused on what we're trying to do, which is part of the bigger trading plan. It's so important. If you're a subscriber, you know that how I end the videos is kind of keep the risk managed, because at the end of the day, guys, if we've got no capital, we can't be in the business. And it's the same with any business, right? If you've got no capital, you're not in business. And it's exactly the same for trading. If we're out of capital, we're out of the game. So risk management is so important. Okay, so we need to look at four things, and we'll look at an example in a second. But the first one is how much capital we currently have. So, this is, we're ultimately working out how much we're going to risk per trade and what type of strategy we can trade. Because I feel that, and I've made this mistake myself, like I say, a lot of these things are based on my own mistakes, so that you guys hopefully don't have to make the same mistakes, or if you do, you kind of catch them early and go, yeah, right, and remember that. So you look at how much capital you have, and then we look at how much risk we're prepared to take in 90 days. Now, why 90 days? Now, it could be 30, it could be 60, but 90 days is kind of a good approximation. So, 90 days, I can stick to this plan for 90 days. How much am I prepared to risk? And I'm going to do an example in a second, so this might make a bit more sense in a moment. We're going to look at the total number of trades we're going to make over that 90-day period, and then we're going to see how much we can risk per trade. So let's move on to the next slide. So, for example, let's say we've got £1,000 risk, just for this argument's sake, okay? And we're a swing trader. So over a 10-day period, over a 90-day period, we might expect us to take 10 trades. So that means we can risk £100 per trade. So you're going to say, well, this doesn't make any sense. What we're doing here now, guys, is we're saying to ourselves, if we should lose every single trade, which I know is unlikely, but it's possible. I've done videos before, we talked about, even if you've got a great high probability success trading strategy, you could still have a string of losers. So we've got to make the worst case scenario here. And the point is that we don't want to be surprised by loss. That's a killer. That's an absolute killer. We come to the end of the week or the end of the month, go, I've lost money. I didn't really want to lose that amount of money. That's a real killer, because then you're really on the back foot. Your kind of psychology, all sorts of things. So we want to give ourselves the worst case scenario and work back from that. So this example, we're $1,000 risk, £1,000 risk. We're a swing trader. So we can risk £100 per trade. So that means if we lost every single trade over the 90-day period, if we stuck to our plan and we took 10 trades and we lost every single trade, we wouldn't be down more than £1,000, and we've accepted that. Now that number could be higher for you, of course, but for this example. And this is why it's so important, because let's now look at another example. And let's say, okay, we've got the same risk, we're prepared to risk £1,000, but this time we're a day trader, we expect to make 3 trades a day. So that's 270 days over the 90-day period, assuming the 90 days our market's open. So the risk per trade for that is £3.70, which is obviously not going to work, right? So this is why, again, we're looking at the bigger picture and not just diving in, because guys, I made this mistake myself. You dive into something, trading a certain style and strategy, and it just doesn't fit in with the kind of bigger thing of risk management. So if you're risking £1,000, obviously day trading 3 times a day isn't going to be suitable for you. Now, I recognize people are going, well, I'm not going to lose 270 trades. And no, you're not. I don't know what the odds are of that. Very, very unlikely. And perhaps you can measure it to suit. You can say, well, if I lose 80% of my trades, you've always got to err on the side of caution, guys. You've got to really put your strategy under stress test it as if you were a kind of a bank. But even if you were 200 trades or 180 trades, that number's still not going to be, not even if it's double. Let's say even if it's £7.40. That's still not going to work unless you're trading kind of a micro account in currency. It's not going to really work for a trading plan. You recognize that you're going to have to really increase your risk, because something's going to change, right? And I know there's extreme examples, but my point here is you must look at kind of how much you're prepared to risk mentally over a period and go, well, that's my worst case scenario. How does that fit in with what I'm going to do? And this example here, if you're day trading, it doesn't, right? You're either going to have to cut down the number of trades or you're going to have to increase the risk. And so it's so important that all these things do fit in with what you're trying to achieve. Maybe because the risk capital you've got, you can't trade day trading 3 times a day. Maybe you say, okay, well, I'm going to fit it in, I'm going to trade kind of 3 days a week, which over the 90-day period might equal this. And so that becomes a little bit better. I can risk £20 per trade. And if I increase my kind of total risk to 3,000, that makes it 60. Okay, so you make some adjustments, because the key thing, and I'm kind of repeating myself here, but I want to, is that you don't want to be surprised by any loss. You want to have accepted that loss. There's nothing worse than going, I didn't want to lose that much amount of money. I wasn't prepared to risk that amount of money. Looking at your statement and going, man, that drawdown is not acceptable. I wasn't ready for that, because that really upsets the whole thing. Err on the side of caution and do things properly.